When a person is in a state of Janaaba, 5 things are prohibited, absolutely haram. Number 1, as-salah. Salah becomes haram when you are in a state of Janaaba. Just to define again, Janaaba is when a person has had a wet dream. Janaaba is when a person has had a conjugal relationship between husband and wife. Janaaba is when a woman has just ceased from her periods or is still in her periods. Janaaba is when a woman is also in her postnatal periods. This is Janaaba. So anyone who is in such a situation, you may not perform salah. You cannot perform salah. You can perform hundreds of rakahs you want. It is absolutely zero in its reward, because you are not in the state of purity and cleanliness. Number 2, qira'atul Qur'an. The second thing that becomes haram when you're in that state is the recitation of the Holy Qur'an. Qira'atul Qur'an. وَلَوْ دُونَ الْآيَةِ, even if it means it is less than an ayah. According to Durr al-Mukhtar لقوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وآله وسلم لا تقرأ الحائض ولا الجنب شيئا من القرآن. Hadith from Tirmidhi, that the person who is in a, or the woman in a state of haid and a person in a state of janaba, male or female, may not read anything from the Holy Quran. وَإِنْ قَصَدَ الدُّعَاء نَحْوَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيَّ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الْحِسَابِ. وَإِنْ قَصَدَ الدُّعَاء, even if he intended to make it or use it as a dua. You can read the du'as that are the qawl of Rasulullah ﷺ, but the du'as that are extracted from the verses of the Quran are still verses. Refrain from that. أو الثناء, even if it is sana, the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, even this is an ayah, because it is extracted from the Holy Quran. أو افتتاح أمر نحو بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, or beginning something by saying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, even this is prohibited because it is an ayah from the Holy Quran. أو تعليم الآية ولقن كلمة كلمة هل في الأصح, or likewise when teaching some children, you have women teachers, the only thing allowed for her is to read word by word separately, each and every word severed. She cannot read one ayah and like that, each every word. Bis, mil, la, hir, rah, ma, nir, ra, him. This is severed. That would be permissible, but again she needs to be careful not to touch it. Perhaps this is why putting a glove on may be useful. And likewise, number 3, mashul mushaf, the touching of the mushaf is also haram. Number 1, salah. Number 2, qira'atul Quran. Number 3, mashul mushaf, the touching of the Quran. Okay, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says أنه لقرآن الكريم, it is indeed Qur'anul Kareem في كتاب مكنون لا يمسه إلا المطهرون, none other than the pure may touch it. Surah number 56, ayah number 78. And it is different if it has a ghilaf on it, a ghita on it. If it has a covering, then you may touch it. But if it doesn't, it is like this, you may not. If it is like this, you may not. But if it is covered around it, like this, you may touch it like that. Many women, they may be reading the Quran. Suddenly they realize that hayd has started. What do? Continue to touch? How do they close it? How do they put it? This is why having a ghilaf could be ideal. So this invention from Bekistan, if that's what they think, or this invention from Hind, if that is what their history traces, is an absolutely wonderful invention that safeguards them according to Sharia. Why don't you think about your people and community and safeguard them from haram? Our elders, our righteous awliya Allahs have thought about all of this, have maintained the adab, have maintained the Quran, maintained the Sunnah, maintained the Sharia, and have given us, and today we are mu'addibeen. Alhamdulillah. And the way and the reason why they are disrespectful is because that has not been preserved in their ways. When your mind becomes too liberal, then there'll come a stage when you want them to respect you. How is that possible? How is that possible when you've never facilitated the initial method? And so it's important that a person considers this from the very beginning. Number 4, dukhulul masjid. Entering the masjid becomes haram and prohibited. If a woman enters the masjid, if a man enters the masjid and he did not take a ghusl from his janaba, it is haram. Every lamha that you spend is haram. You are in a state of sin. You are in a state of sin. Similarly, a woman may go without her mahram to perform umrah or hajj. Do you think you are going to get the reward of hajj and umrah? Absolutely not. Who on earth told you it is rewardful? You are disobeying the hukum of Allah wa Rasulihi sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. You've made it important and incumbent upon you when it wasn't important or incumbent upon you. Get your mahram. Get married. Get settled in. Make sure you are able to travel with those that Sharia allows you to travel. Don't borrow someone from here and there. Make someone a family or a relative. No. Within the Ahlul Ahnaf, that is not allowed. Within the Ahlul Shawafi, however, it is allowed. Remember that. So just for the sake of it, are you going to abandon Imam Abu Hanifa and adopt the school of thought of Imam Shafi? No. This is considered as mockery. And this will also be disrespectful. So therefore stay within your boundaries. Your structure is to encourage you to be married, to have husbands, to have brothers who are of age, who can take you. If not, convince them. And this is why you must make sure that you don't sever links with your family, because you still need them. And so the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam stated, and this is in Sunan Abi Dawood Sharif, لا أحل المسجد لحائض ولا جنوب. It is not halal. حل يحل means to cross also. It is not halal to cross the masjid for the one who is in a state of hayd, period, or walal junub, or the man and woman who is in a state of janaba. This should not be delayed even a few minutes. When you are in that state, after that you have a bath, the ghusl that we talked about. And fifthly, at-tawaf bil-Ka'bah, the tawaf, the circumambulation of the Kaaba, the 7 circuit that you do going around. Some of you don't know the word circumambulation. So tawaf bil-Kaaba, the tawaf of the Kaaba, according to Maraqi al-Fala, on the authority of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, who said, at-tawaf hawla al-bayt mislu salah. Going round the Kaaba, circumambulating round the Kaaba is like salah. It is like mislu salah. This is why we should not talk, because in salah you do not talk. In salah you can praise, and the only difference over here is that you can talk about du'a'ul masura. In salah you read the Quran. حول البيت مثل الصلاة إلا أنكم تتكلمون فيه. Except that this form of tawaf is a tawaf in which you talk. فمن تكلم فيه فلا يتكلم أو يتكلمن إلا بخير. If you do go around performing the circumambulation, you should talk, but talk only khair, only good. What is good? Good is only termed as the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the praise of the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you are returning the jawab of someone. This is khair. Talking now about how it was a year back whilst you are going round the Kaaba is not the best of places. This is called vain talk. Just like Richard of York gave battle in vain, that is taught in chemistry just to learn the colors of rainbow. Okay? You will also be going around in vain, because the whole idea is you've brought yourself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's house, the sacredness, the sanctifiedness, and that specific time is allocated for you as a last resource, as a last turning point, as a pinnacle of change, as a pinnacle of the acceptance of your tawbah. And that is according to At-Tirmidhi.